This is Kim and Amanda from Put a Cup in It, and we want to talk to you about finding your Goldilocks cup.
Goldilocks cup is what people in the menstrual world like to call your perfect cup. Like, it's not too soft, it's not too firm, it's not too long, it's not too short. You get the idea.
It's a very cutesy name, but it's something that everyone strives for. But in general, most people have a cup that works. It's just, when you want to find your Goldilocks, it's just everything is perfect for you. And that's something that's probably not going to happen the first time you buy a cup.
And if you do,
fuck yeah.
And people do say sometimes, like, I bought this cup and it's perfect, and that's wonderful. But if you need a little guidance, you've already tried a cup and you're like, I like it, I'm not leaking, or maybe you are leaking, whatever the case is, we've got some tips that can help.
Right, so the first tip is not to toot our own horn, but...
well, I mean, maybe a little.
Maybe a little. We worked really hard on it. We have a quiz on putacupinit.com/quiz. Very easy to find. And if you answer these 9 questions, it can really point you to a direction that if you are just overwhelmed. I think if you don't want to do the individual research, and we can also talk about that, but if you don't want to do the individual research and look at dozens of cup brands, this is going to narrow it down to ones that we have pointed to people with specific needs. So if, let's say for example, you are about our age, but you have an extraordinarily heavy flow, none of the cups you've tried have worked, they all leak, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love the cup, I just have to change it too often. If you say you have a super, super heavy flow, chances are you're going to be recommended the Super Jenny Large, which is a 42 milliliter cup, and you may never have heard of it. So that's one way we can point you to something that helps.
Yeah, the quiz is incredibly detailed, and you may get an answer. Let's say that the cup you tried was an original Lena. You may get that answer, and in that answer there's going to be 2 to 3 other cups that are very comparable. So if you already know that you've tried like the feature cup, try one of the other ones that may be your perfect fit.
And really it's only the featured cup because we took a picture of it. They're really very similar, but with maybe slight differences. The other thing that we would recommend if you are using a cup that you want to compare to other cups to try to find your Goldilocks is our menstrual cup comparison chart. And this is gonna let you view where your cup is versus other cups. And this is probably, for someone who wants to really do the footwork, the best way and the easiest way.
Yeah, if you have experience with cups, the chart is gonna be very helpful because you can sort by diameter, you can sort by length, you can look at all of the different stem types. It's pretty in-depth. The one thing it doesn't really cover is firmness. It will state if it's extremely firm or extremely soft, but it doesn't really, like, anything middle of the road is sort of assumed.
Right, so for example, if you tried the Diva Cup and you love most of the things about it, but you find it's a little too long for you, what you would do is look for any cup that's shorter, so you can sort by the length, find Diva Cup on the chart, and then look for everything that's below it in terms of length. And if you like the other features, you know, find something that's similar, you know, you
could look for a similar diameter. Another thing our chart is helpful with is that if you know you don't want a protruding rim, while it's not on the text like sortable chart, below that is a visual comparison tool that we keep updated when we get new cups, and you can look at the actual shape of each cup.
Right, so if you know that you like a round base versus a bullet shape, this is another way that you can use the tools we have available online to try to pick what cup you like better.
Right. And you can also look at stem offerings.
Right, stem offerings, so all of those things are there. So there's definitely ways to use the chart to your advantage if you're trying to find your Goldilocks cup. Going back to choosing something off of what you already know, go and look at all the characteristics of your cup. What is bothering you? Is it too soft or too firm? So if it's too soft, you want to choose a firmer cup. And again, our chart isn't going to tell you the firmness exactly, but we have a group on Put a Cup in It on Facebook, just called Put a Cup in It. We're happy to answer questions there. So if you have a question to say, I love my Diva Cup, but I want something that's softer or firmer, one of us who have tried multiple cups can help you. There are group members. So you're not in this alone. I think group support is something really big in the menstrual community. And even on comments on YouTube, we go through and answer comments. So if you want to do it there, I think the group is probably the easiest because you're going to get more answers than just.
So I found the comments here extremely helpful. I'm the one who does a lot of checking. I love reading them, and so I'm always very thankful when I read through the comments and I see people offering their advice, or they'll, even just some reassurance sometimes. It's really wonderful. So if that's one of you, thank you.
That's such a huge part of using a menstrual cup, is finding a community and somewhere with support, because there are a lot of questions along the way, and finding your perfect cup is the goal that everyone's trying to achieve. Yeah. And usually it's through community support and questions where people eventually find their cup just based on recommendations.
Right, and I find that even after you get past that phase, you want to be there to support others. Like, it doesn't sound like something I necessarily would have done to begin with, but I understand it now.
You have to know your body to find your Goldilocks. There's no way that you're just going to randomly try cups and maybe you'll get lucky.
You might spend a bit.
Right. You want to try to only buy 2 cups. Like, that's the goal. I think buying 2 cups is it. You might want to buy a third just to try another brand, but financially speaking, and just not, just to try all the cups, like buying 2 cups is something people usually do. 1, you might get lucky. 2, you'll probably end up finding the one that works best for you, hopefully. But if you're just randomly trying cups, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to drill down, decide what you need, like what bothers you about your current cup, and then pick.
And again, this video is very much for anyone who is pretty familiar with cups. This is not for beginners.
So my first cup was a Diva cup, and the only reason it wasn't my Goldilocks is because it was too long. So then I tried a lunette cup, and the length was better, but I've used that one for the longest. The lunette cup has probably been what I would have considered my Goldilocks for many years, because it just worked really well for me. The length was perfect. It was shorter than the Diva cup, which worked for my cervix when it was lower on the lower days. And it was a little firmer, so it stayed in place really well. But the firmness is also causing me to pee slower, which is something you might experience with a firmer cup, and that's one of the things you might want to fix and fine tune. Never really bothered me that much. But then as I was testing other cups, the Lena Sensitive worked really well for me, and I tried the size 1, but it slipped. So then I tried this brand, which is Sibel, and I tried the size 2. And it has a protruding rim, so it helps it stay in place a little better, like the lunette did. But it's just a little softer. And honest to goodness, it fixed the peeing problem for me, and I can even have a bowel movement and it won't move down, which I expected would probably always happen for me. I would take out the cup if I knew I had a big old cup of coffee.
I don't know what you mean.
And things started moving, so I would just preemptively take out my cup, do the business, and then put it back in. It's not something everyone is comfortable talking about, but it's a real issue with your cup. You don't poop out tampons, but it's common. It's a very common issue. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it's something.
Oh, I thought you meant pooping out tampons. It's like, really?
No, I meant you never had a pooping out tampon experience because they're scratchy and they're stuck in there. But menstrual cups are slippery and comfortable, but that can happen with your muscle movement. It can move the cup down to a point where it's just too low for you. It doesn't really poop out.
Right, it's not.
It doesn't shoot out.
There are rare instances where someone's like, oh my gosh, I did it. I dropped my cup in the toilet. But that's not common.
That's not common. But just keep that in mind. If it starts moving down, you might want to catch it. You might want to be a cup catcher.
Oh God.
But yeah, that solved my issues, and it was just over time, I got to know my body better, and I was able to pinpoint exactly what was happening and make educated guesses on brands that would work. And it just so happened that I didn't even know the Sibel because it was an unfamiliar brand, and I tested it.
And they only recently have a US website where you can purchase. If you have any specific questions, you are welcome to leave a comment below, and we will try to answer. And hopefully someone else may chime in with their experience. And of course, you can always check our Facebook group as well.
Facebook group is just called Put a Cup in It, just like everything else. Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr we don't use. We're just all
We tried, man. We tried.
We tried. We're just not cool enough for Tumblr. Yeah, so thanks for watching this. Good luck on your Goldilocks journey. We hope you find the perfect fit for your vag. Make sure you like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Thanks.